She didn't know the man bleeding in her back seat was the most dangerous person in the city. All she knew was that he was dying. It was 11:30 on a Tuesday night. The kind of night where honest people are already asleep, and the streets belong to everyone else. Her name was May. Just May. Not short for anything. Her mother said it meant bitter in some old language, but May never felt bitter about anything. She felt invisible, which, in her line of work, was exactly what she needed to be. May drove a cab. The overnight shift. Airport runs. Drunk college kids. Sometimes people who didn't want their own cars seen in certain neighborhoods. She'd learned not to ask questions. But tonight she broke that rule. The man stumbled into her cab outside a warehouse on the south side. No phone call. No app. Just a hand slapping against her window, leaving a dark smear across the glass. Blood. Drive, he said. Just that one word. May should have hit the locks. Should have driven away. Should have called the police. Instead, she looked at his face. Even pale and sweating, even with blood soaking through his white shirt, he had the kind of face you don't forget. Strong jaw. Dark eyes that seemed to see through everything. And something else. Something broken. You need a hospital, May said. No hospitals. His voice was rough. Painful. They'll kill me there. They. He didn't answer. Just pressed his hand harder against the wound in his side. May made a choice. The wrong choice. Or maybe the only choice. She drove. Her apartment was small. 3rd floor. No elevator. May practically dragged him up the stairs, his arm heavy across her shoulders, his blood soaking into her jacket. Her neighbors didn't open their doors. In this building, you learn not to. Inside, she lowered him onto her couch. The same couch she'd bought at a thrift store 3 years ago. Now it was going to be ruined. I need to see the wound, May said, surprised at how steady her voice sounded. He nodded. Let her unbutton his shirt. The bullet had gone clean through. Entry wound in the front, exit wound in the back. May had never seen a gunshot wound before, except in movies, but somehow she knew that's what this was. You're lucky, she said. It missed everything important. Lucky, he repeated like the word was a joke. May grabbed her first aid kit. The one she kept for small emergencies. Cuts. Burns. This wasn't a small emergency, but it was all she had. She worked in silence, cleaning the wound, bandaging it tight. Her hands shook, but she didn't stop. He watched her the whole time. Those dark eyes. Studying her. Why are you helping me? He finally asked. May didn't have a good answer. Because you asked me to drive. That's not a reason. It's the only one I've got. She finished with the bandage and sat back. Her hands were covered in his blood. Her apartment smelled like copper and antiseptic. You can stay tonight, May said. Tomorrow, you leave. And we never talk about this again. He smiled. Just barely. You think it's that simple. It has to be. What's your name? May hesitated. Names made things real. Made things complicated. But she was already in this, wasn't she? May. May, he repeated like he was tasting the word. Don't. She held up a bloody hand. I don't want to know your name. I don't want to know who you are or what you did or why someone shot you. Tomorrow morning, you walk out that door, and we're strangers again. He studied her for a long moment, then nodded. Okay, May. Strangers. She gave him a pillow and a blanket, even though he was already bleeding through onto her couch. Then she locked herself in her bedroom and sat on the floor with her back against the door. What had she done? Morning came too fast. May woke up still on the floor, her neck stiff, her heart pounding. For a second, she thought maybe it had all been a nightmare. Some terrible dream. Then she smelled the coffee. She opened her bedroom door slowly. He was in her kitchen. Standing. Moving carefully, one hand pressed against his bandaged side, but standing. He'd found her coffee maker. Her good mugs. The sugar she kept hidden in the back of the cupboard because she was trying to quit. "You're still here," May said. "I make good coffee," he replied. "Consider it payment." He poured her a cup. Black, no sugar, even though she always took sugar. But she didn't correct him. Just took the cup and sat at her small kitchen table. They drank in silence. It should have been awkward. A strange man in her apartment. Blood on her couch. A gunshot wound hidden under his borrowed t-shirt. Her largest t-shirt, the one that said, "World's okayest person," in faded letters. But it wasn't awkward. It was quiet. The kind of quiet May usually only got at 4 in the morning, driving empty streets, the city asleep around her. "You should go," May finally said, "before the neighbors wake up. They're already awake. I heard them an hour ago. Then before they see you. Why do you care if they see me?" May set down her cup. Looked at him directly. "Because men who get shot usually have people looking for them. And I don't want those people looking here." He didn't deny it. Just nodded slowly. "You're right. I should go." He stood up, wincing. "But I need to know something first." "What? Are you going to tell anyone about this?" "About me." May thought about lying. But something about those eyes made lying feel impossible. "No," she said. "I'm not going to tell anyone." "Why not?" "Because whatever you did, whoever you are, you came to me for help. And I helped you. That's finished now." He reached into his pocket. May tensed. But he only pulled out a card. Plain white. Just a phone number. Nothing else. "If you ever need anything," he said, placing it on her table. "Anything at all. Call this number." "I won't need anything." "Maybe not. But keep it anyway." He walked to the door. Slowly. Carefully. Trying not to show how much it hurt. At the door, he turned back. "You asked why I came to you. To your cab, out of all the cars on that street." May waited. "It was the sticker on your window. The little purple flower. My mother had the same one. She used to say it meant hope." He smiled, sad and small. "Funny thing to look for when you're dying." Then he was gone. May sat at her table for a long time, staring at the white card with just a phone number. Then she tucked it into her wallet, behind her driver's license, where she'd forget about it. Except she didn't forget about it. She thought about it every single day for the next 3 weeks. May told herself she was fine. Everything was normal. She went back to driving her cab, picking up strangers, asking no questions. But she started noticing things she'd never noticed before. The black cars that seemed to follow certain people. The men in expensive suits who moved through the airport like they owned it. The way some passengers tensed when they passed certain buildings, certain streets. The city had always had an underbelly. May had always known that. But now she could see it. Like someone had turned on a light in a dark room, and she couldn't look away. 3 weeks after that night, May picked up a fare at the Grand Hotel downtown. A woman. Late 50s. Expensive dress, expensive jewelry, expensive perfume that filled the cab within seconds. "The Riverside address," the woman said. "You know where that is." May knew. Everyone who drove a cab knew. The Riverside district was where the old money lived. The people who ran this city from leather chairs and behind closed doors. May drove. The woman made phone calls. Spoke in languages May didn't understand. But one word kept coming up. A name. Dante. May's hands tightened on the wheel. "Excuse me," she said, breaking her own rule about not talking to passengers. "Did you say Dante?" The woman looked up. Sharp eyes. Calculating. "Why? You know him." "No. I heard the name somewhere." "Then you should forget it." The woman's voice wasn't threatening. Just factual. Like she was giving directions. "Dante Caruso isn't someone you want to know. He's dangerous. His family has run this city for 3 generations. They call him the Ice King because he doesn't feel anything. Doesn't care about anything except power and money." May's heart was pounding. Sounds like someone to avoid. Smart girl. They drove the rest of the way in silence. But when May dropped the woman off, she got $100 tip. And a warning. Whatever you heard, wherever you heard it, forget it. For your own sake. May watched the woman disappear into a mansion with actual columns. Then she drove away, her mind racing. Dante Caruso, the Ice King. The man who'd bled on her couch and made her coffee was one of the most dangerous people in the city. The kind of person you saw on the news when someone turned up dead in the river. May should have been scared. Should have thrown away that card. Should have moved apartments, changed her route, disappeared. Instead, that night, she drove to the warehouse district. The South Side. Where she'd picked him up. The building was still there. Dark. Abandoned looking. But May could see the cameras. The security lights. The way certain shadows moved with purpose. She parked across the street. Waited. Watching. She didn't know what she was looking for. Some kind of proof, maybe. That she hadn't imagined it all. That he was real. A black car pulled up. 2 men got out. Big men. The kind who made their living being intimidating. And then he stepped out of the building. Dante. Even from across the street, May could see the change in him. He stood taller. Moved differently. The broken thing she'd seen in her apartment was gone, replaced by something hard and cold and untouchable. The Ice King. He spoke to the men. They nodded. Got back in the car. Drove away. And then Dante looked directly at May's cab. Even across the dark street, even through her windshield, their eyes met. He'd known she was there the whole time. May's hand moved to the key in the ignition. She should drive away. Right now. Fast. But she didn't. Dante crossed the street. Slowly. Not threatening. Just walking. He stopped at her window. Waited. May rolled it down. You shouldn't be here, he said. I know. So why are you? May didn't have an answer. Not a real one. So she said the first thing that came to her mind. I wanted to see if you were okay. If the wound healed. Something flickered across his face. Surprise, maybe. Or something else. It healed. Good. They looked at each other. May suddenly aware of how vulnerable she was. Alone, in her cab, in front of a warehouse full of dangerous men, talking to the most dangerous one of all. The number I gave you, Dante said. You never called. I didn't need anything. Is that the truth? May thought about lying. But those eyes. I don't know. Dante leaned closer. Not threatening. Just closer. You want to know something about me, May? Her name in his mouth sent a strange shiver down her spine. She nodded. That night, when I got in your cab, I had a gun. Loaded. Safety off. I could have made you drive. Could have threatened you. Hurt you. But I didn't. Do you know why? May shook her head. Because when you looked at me, you didn't see Dante Caruso. You didn't see the Ice King. You just saw someone who needed help. And you helped. No questions. No judgment. Just helped. He straightened up. No one has looked at me that way in a very long time. Maybe that's because of the things you do, May said quietly. Maybe. He smiled. Sad. Real. Go home, May. Forget you saw me. Forget this place. Forget everything. What if I can't? The question hung between them. Dangerous. Loaded with meaning, May wasn't sure she understood. Dante reached through the window. Slowly. Giving her time to pull away. He touched her hand where it rested on the steering wheel. Just his fingers on hers. Barely touching. Then God help us both, he whispered. He stepped back. Turned around. Walked back to the warehouse without looking back. May sat in her cab, her hand still tingling where he'd touched her, and realized she was in trouble. The worst kind of trouble. She should drive away and never look back, right? Right. May didn't call the number. But she didn't throw it away either. Instead, she found herself driving past the warehouse. Not every night. Just sometimes. When her shift ended. When the city was quiet. When she couldn't sleep and needed to drive somewhere, anywhere. She told herself she was just making sure he was okay. That the wound hadn't gotten infected. That he hadn't gotten shot again. She told herself a lot of lies. The truth was simpler and more complicated. She couldn't stop thinking about him. Not the dangerous man. Not the Ice King. But the person underneath. The one who'd made her coffee. Who'd noticed her purple flower sticker. Who'd looked at her like she was the most interesting person in the world, even though she was just a cab driver with a too small apartment and no real plans for the future. 2 months after that night, May was working a late shift when her radio crackled. "May, you there?" Her dispatcher. Tony. 20 years on the job, voice like gravel from too many cigarettes. "I'm here," May said. "Got a special pickup for you. Private client. Good money." May frowned. She didn't do private clients. "Tony. $500 for one ride. Our max client asked for you specifically." May's heart stuttered. "Who's the client?" Didn't give a name. Just coordinates. And a note that says, "The cab with the purple flower." May's hands tightened on the wheel. She should say no. Should tell Tony she was done for the night. Should go home and lock her door and forget about white cards and dark eyes and men who got shot in warehouses. "Give me the coordinates," she heard herself say. The address wasn't the warehouse. It was a restaurant on the north side. The kind of place May had driven past 1,000 times but never imagined going inside. The kind where entrees cost more than she made in a day. Dante was waiting outside. Not in his usual dark suit. Just jeans and a jacket. Looking almost normal. He got in the back seat. Met her eyes in the rearview mirror. "Hi," he said. "Hi. I need you to drive me somewhere." "Where?" "Anywhere. Everywhere. Nowhere." He smiled. "Tired. I just need to not be me for a few hours. And I thought maybe you could help with that." May should have said no. Should have told him to get out. Should have driven straight to the police station. Instead, she drove. They went to the pier. The one where the fishermen came before dawn. Empty now, just dark water and darker sky. They didn't talk much. Dante sat in the back, looking out the window like he'd never seen the city before. "Can I ask you something?" May finally said. "You can ask. I might not answer." "Why me?" "You're you. You could have anyone. Why call a random cab driver?" Dante was quiet for a long time. Then, "Because everyone else wants something from me. Money, power, protection. They look at me and see what I can give them. But you." He leaned forward, his face appearing in the mirror beside hers. "You looked at me and saw someone who needed help. That's all. Just someone who needed help." "That's not all you are," May said softly. "No. But it's the part one forgot existed." They drove to the old fairground next. Closed down 5 years ago, rusty rides standing like ghosts in the darkness. Dante got out of the car. May hesitated, then followed. "I used to come here as a kid," he said, walking toward the carousel. "My mother would bring me every Sunday. Rain or shine. She'd buy me cotton candy and we'd ride the carousel until I felt sick." "Your mother," May said, remembering. "The purple flower. Violets. Her favorite." Dante touched one of the carousel horses. Peeling paint and missing jewels. "She died when I was 12. Car accident. Or that's what they told me. I found out later it was a message. Sent to my father. A warning. I'm sorry. After she died, my father made sure I understood. This life. It doesn't allow for soft things. Soft things get you killed. So I became hard. Cold. The Ice King." He turned to look at her. "And then you saved my life. And for the first time in 20 years, I felt something soft again. Something that wasn't cold." May's heart was pounding. "Dante. I shouldn't have called you tonight. I know that. This isn't safe. I'm not safe. But I couldn't. He stepped closer. I couldn't stop thinking about you. I couldn't stop thinking about you either, May whispered. They stood there, in the shadow of a broken carousel, and May knew this moment would change everything. Dante reached up. Slowly, gently, touched her cheek with his fingertips. If you tell me to go, he said, I'll go. I'll disappear. You'll never see me again. And you'll be safe. What if I don't want to be safe? Then God help us both. He kissed her. Soft and careful, like she was made of glass. Like she was the most precious thing in the world. And May, who had always been practical, who had always been smart, who had always chosen the safe option, kissed him back. The moment broke when headlights flooded the fairground. Dante pulled away, instantly alert, instantly different. The soft thing disappeared, replaced by the Ice King. Get in the car, he said. Not a request. A command. What? Now, May. 3 black cars pulled up. Men got out. Not the kind you argue with. But their leader wasn't who May expected. It was a woman. Tall. Beautiful. With eyes as cold as Dante's had ever been. Well, the woman said, her voice carrying across the empty fairground. The Ice King has finally melted. How disappointing. Dante stepped in front of May. Protective. This doesn't concern her, Lucia. Doesn't it? Lucia smiled. Sharp. Dangerous. You think we haven't been watching? You think we don't know everything? She's your weakness now. And weaknesses. She snapped her fingers. One of her men raised a gun. Not at Dante. At May. No. Dante's shout was raw. Desperate. Not cold at all. Lucia laughed. There it is. The thing we've all been waiting for. Dante Caruso, actually feeling something. Actually caring about someone. Your father would be ashamed. Leave her out of this. Too late. She's in it now. The moment you kissed her, you painted a target on her back. Lucia moved closer. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to walk away from her. Tonight. Forever. You're going to go back to being the Ice King. And she's going to live. Or what? Or I kill her right now. And then I kill everyone she's ever cared about. Her neighbors. Her dispatcher. That grocery clerk she talks to every Tuesday morning. Everyone. Until there's nothing left but you and your guilt. May's whole body was shaking. But she stepped out from behind Dante. Don't, Dante said. May, don't. If he walks away, May said, looking directly at Lucia, you'll leave me alone? You'll leave everyone alone. Lucia studied her. My. A brave little thing, isn't she? Yes, I'll leave you alone. You have my word. May, no. Dante grabbed her hand. I'm not leaving you. May looked at him. Really looked at him. Saw the fear in his eyes. The same fear she'd seen that first night, when he was bleeding in her back seat. You have to, she said softly. Because if you don't, people will die. And I can't have that on my conscience. May. Go. She pulled her hand away. Each inch felt like a mile. Go and be the Ice King. And forget about the cab driver with the purple flower. I could never forget you. Then try. Dante looked at Lucia. At her men. At the guns. And May saw the calculation in his eyes. Saw him weighing options. Looking for a way out. There isn't one, Lucia said, reading his thoughts. Not one where she lives. Walk away, Dante. Walk away and she's safe. Stay, and she's dead. Along with everyone else. Dante's jaw clenched. His hands fisted at his sides. And then, slowly, he nodded. He looked at May one last time. And in that look, she saw everything. Every word they'd never say. Every moment they'd never have. Every future that had just died. I'm sorry, he whispered. Then he got in Lucia's car, and drove away. May stood in the empty fairground, surrounded by ghosts and broken dreams, and felt something inside her break. Not her heart. Something deeper. Lucia walked up to her. Smiled. You're a smart girl. Forget about him. Move on. Live your life. Why did you do this? May asked. Why destroy something that made him happy? Because happiness makes people weak. And we can't afford weakness. Not in this life. Lucia turned to leave, then paused. Besides, it was never real. You think Dante Caruso could actually love someone like you? You were a distraction. An amusement. Nothing more. She left. Her men left. The headlights disappeared. May stood alone in the darkness. She didn't cry. Couldn't cry. Just stood there, feeling hollow. Finally, she walked back to her cab. Got in. Started the engine. And that's when she saw it. A note. On the passenger seat. In handwriting she didn't recognize but somehow knew was his. I lied when I said I could never forget you. The truth is, I never stopped remembering. And I never will. You saved my life twice. Once with your hands. Once with your heart. I have no right to ask, but I'm asking anyway. Trust me. One more time. Wait for me. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to make you safe. And then I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure you never regret saving mine. D. May read the note 3 times. Then folded it carefully and put it in her wallet, next to the white card with just a phone number. Then she drove home, and waited. Because some promises are worth believing in. Even when they come from the Ice King. 3 months passed. May went back to her regular life. Driving her cab. Picking up strangers. Asking no questions. But everything had changed. She moved apartments. Tony helped her find a place on the west side. Better neighborhood. Safer building. She didn't ask where the money for the deposit came from. Just took it and moved. She changed her route. Avoided the warehouse district. Avoided the north side restaurants. Avoided everywhere she might see him. But she kept the note. And the white card. And the purple flower sticker on her window. Because some things are worth holding on to. On day 93, May was driving past the pier, the one where they'd talked, where everything had changed, when her phone rang. Not her work phone. Her personal phone. The one only 3 people had the number to. Unknown caller. May pulled over. Answered. Hello. Silence. Then, hi. His voice. Different. Tired. But his. Dante. It's over. Lucia's gone. Her entire organization. Gone. It took me 3 months, but... He paused. It's over, May. You're safe now. May closed her eyes. Where are you? Turn around. She did. He was standing on the pier. Same jeans. Same jacket. But different somehow. Lighter. Like he'd put down something heavy he'd been carrying for a long time. May got out of the cab. Started walking toward him. They met in the middle. You waited, Dante said. You asked me to. I had no right. No. You didn't. May looked up at him. But I waited anyway. Why? Because you saved my life too. That night in the fairground. When you walked away. You saved me. She reached up, touched his face. And because I love you. Even though you're dangerous and impossible, and you drink coffee black even though it tastes terrible that way. Dante laughed. Actually laughed. I love you too. Even though you're reckless and stubborn, and you save people who don't deserve saving. So what now? Now. Dante pulled her close. Now we figure it out. Together. Together, May repeated. I like that word. They stood on the pier, watching the sun rise over the city that had tried to keep them apart, and May realized something. Some debts can never be repaid. Some people can never be forgotten. And some love stories don't have neat endings. But they have beginnings. And sometimes, that's enough. The end. Would you wait 3 months for someone like Dante?